Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel Query Solution. So today it's the fourth session on the chapter life process that we are talking today, and the topic we are going to cover today is the digestion in the case of human being. So in the previous video we have already discussed about the Holozoic mode of nutrition, where we have discussed about the 5 steps mainly which are involved in the process of digestion, and in today's video we are going to talk in detail how the complex food is broken into simple, right? So just to again give a quick summary over here, and even in our previous video as we have discussed, what do we understand when we are talking about digestion? So whenever we are speaking about the term digestion, we are saying that the complex food that we are eating, it gets broken up into simple food. This is what is meant by digestion. And what help in this process, or what helps in breaking down the complex food into simple food? So the enzymes which are there in different parts of our body, that play a very crucial role in breaking the complex to simple. So I'm just giving a quick brief over here to you, that if I'm saying something as a complex food, and then if I'm saying it will be broken down into the simple version of a food, so what actually am I speaking over here? What is this complex and simple here that we are talking about? So for example, if you're eating rice, right, or if you are eating chapati, mainly roti, right, which is made up of your wheat, so this complex food is nothing but it is a carbohydrate, right? What you're eating, actually you're eating a carbohydrate. Now your body cannot process this carbohydrate, your body cannot use this carbohydrate, but your body has to break down these carbohydrates using different enzyme and convert it into a simple form which is known as a sugar, correct? So what is a complex food you are eating? It's carbohydrate, and if it gets broken down into simple, which is known as sugar, now your body is going to use this sugar mainly to produce energy, to give you or to help you in your growth and development, right? But we do know that's not the only food that we are eating. We also eat different sorts and different sources of proteins also. So what is protein again? Protein here is a complex version. It is a complex version of the food. And what is the simple version of the proteins then? Then the protein has to be broken down into a simple form which is known as amino acid. So if this protein will be broken down into amino acid, this is the simple version of the food. What is the next complex food that you are eating mainly? So we are eating fats, or we can also say we are eating lipid. This is again a complex version. Then what is the simple version of fats? The simple version of fats or lipid are the fatty acid and glycerol. So if you are aware of these terms right now that I have written over here, it will be easy for you to understand what do we mean by digestion, because at the end of the digestion, this is what the simple forms of food that we are going to talk about. So just to give you a quick recap, the carbohydrates that we are eating in the food has to be broken down into sugar. The proteins that we are eating in the food has to be broken down into amino acids, and the lipids or the fats that we are eating has to be broken down into fatty acid and glycerol. Once this is achieved, then we are able to say that digestion has completely happened, correct? Now let us understand this process in detail, how digestion is taking place. All right, okay. So let me just give you a quick one side pathway, and at the other end we are going to discuss the digestion process. So this is just a pathway where I am going to tell you that how is your food moving from which place to which place, and this is the entire process of digestion that we are going to discuss. All right. So you do know that whenever we are eating the food, what is the side that you are intaking your food from? So the first digestive system, or this we are going to start, is with your mouth. So the first stage here we are speaking is about your mouth. Now what is there in your mouth? Whenever you are taking the food, what are you doing? You are chewing your food, right? You have teeth in your mouth, and these teeth are helping you to chew your food. They are helping you in grinding the food mainly, correct? They are helping in the grinding of the food, and at the same time here your food is mixed with a liquid, correct? What is that liquid here I am talking about? So your food gets mixed with saliva. Now how this saliva is produced in your body? So this saliva is produced because you have got 3 pairs of glands which are known as salivary gland. Now this is very important for you to note. So what is happening as you are keeping or as you are chewing your food in your mouth through with the help of your teeth, definitely we do know that there is a secretion of saliva. Saliva secretion even starts when we start to smell something good, right? We do feel that saliva is getting secreted. How it is getting secreted? Because we have got 3 pairs of salivary glands in our mouth. And what are these glands actually doing? So these glands, salivary glands, are producing some enzymes which are known as salivary amylase. Now this is again very important thing to note. What is this salivary gland producing? So salivary gland is producing the enzyme amylase. Now we do know what is enzyme going to do here. Enzyme is going to break the complex food into simple, right? So something we now know that amylase is going to work on and convert it into something simple. So what is amylase going to work on? So salivary amylase acts on the starch which is there in your food. So whatever starch is found in your food, this amylase is going to work onto it and it is going to convert it into simple sugars. So this is the very first thing that starts in your mouth itself. So if you get a question that which part of your body the digestion starts, now many of you are going to write your answer stomach, which is wrong. Why? Because here you have your answer. The process of digestion starts in your mouth itself. The starch which is there in your food, the salivary glands are going to release your amylase, and this amylase is going to act on your starch and it is going to convert it into sugar. Correct? Now, from your mouth, what is the next place your food is going to go? From the mouth, we do know the food is going to go into a structure which is known as esophagus. This esophagus is also known as what? So I hope you know esophagus is also known as food pipe. Now, do any digestion happen in esophagus? So no, this is a complete no. There is no digestion. I am writing in bold. There is no digestion happening in the esophagus. Then why esophagus is there? So this esophagus is very important. Your food pipe is important because this is going to connect your mouth to your next organ here that we are talking about, which is your stomach. And we do know stomach is very, very important when we are talking about digestion, right? Because stomach plays a very important part. We will see what happens, but just to give you a idea over here, there is no digestion happening in the esophagus, but there is a very important movement which happens in the esophagus. And what is that movement known as? It is known as peristalsis movement or peristaltic movement, anything you can say. And what is this peristaltic movement? So the walls of the esophagus which are there, they rigorously contract and relax. They will behave like this. And what will happen when something is like this? It's running from top of your body entirely till down, right? So if something is moving like this, it will help in the movement of your food from your mouth to your stomach. So this is what is esophagus doing. No digestion, but helping in peristaltic so that the food goes from your mouth into your stomach. So let us see the third thing now. Once your food has reached in your stomach, what is going to happen? So in your stomach, you have some specialized glands which are known as gastric glands. So in your mouth, what glands you had? Salivary gland. And in your stomach, there is something which is known as your gastric gland. And what is this gastric gland going to produce? Like salivary gland produce these 3 things, right? What is gastric gland going to produce? So gastric gland produces 3 things. First, it produces acid. So I hope you all know that there is naturally acid which is also formed in your body. And which acid here am I talking about? The hydrochloric acid. So the stomach actually produces acid which is hydrochloric acid. And what is this acid going to do? This is going to make your food acidic. So definitely if acid is going to, it has a pH of around 1.5. So imagine how acidic your stomach is mainly. So whatever food is now entering from your mouth through esophagus in your stomach, this acid is going to convert or make your food entirely into acidic food, correct? How is this acidic food helpful? So acidic food is helpful. How? Because it is going to kill all the microbes which are there in your food. If there are some microorganisms or some infectious material, harmful material that has entered in your body via food, this acid is going to kill that. So it is in a way protecting your body. And making your food is also important because it will help in the activation of an enzyme, which is next we are going to talk about. Okay. So we will see the enzyme in detail, the third part, which is pepsin. We will talk about this in the next part, just in few minutes. Another important thing the gastric gland produces something which is known as a mucus layer. It is a sticky, slimy layer. Mucus you do feel, right? When you have cold, there is mucus that comes out of your nose. Correct? That is what is mucus here also, which is there in your stomach. So gastric gland will first of all produce acid. Now you do know if there is something like 1.5 pH of acid there in your own body, it can even damage the walls of your stomach also, right? But that does not happen. Why? Because acid is produced, but at the same time this gastric gland is producing a mucus layer. This layer is there around your stomach, which will help so that this acid does not damage the wall of your stomach. So that is the function of your mucus layer mainly. And as I said you, why acid production is important? So another reason, because this produces this enzyme which is known as pepsin. So let me write again pepsin over here. Pepsin is an enzyme. So I think again, since I have drawn an arrow, you would get an idea that this will work on something and it will convert it into something else. So what does pepsin work on to? So pepsin is going to work on the proteins, right? Just now we have studied, we are going to eat proteins also. So pepsin is going to work on the proteins in your body, and this is going to convert your protein into peptones and peptides. So just a quick thing here, what did I say to you? What is the simple version? Amino acid. But is this amino acid here I am talking about? No. So what does that mean? That still the digestion of protein has to happen later. In the other body parts also there will be further digestion happening to completely digest it. This is not the complete digestion that has happened. So this is like just one intermediate product we can say for the protein the body has digested in the stomach. So what is happening in the stomach? We have gastric gland. These gastric gland are producing three major important things: HCl, mucus and your enzyme which is pepsin. So to function pepsin, it is important that the food should be acidic. If it won't be acidic, pepsin won't be activated. So to activate pepsin, another reason that your food is acidic in nature, the food becomes acidic in nature so that pepsin converts the protein that you are eaten in your food into peptides and peptones. Okay. Now, from your stomach, where is your food going to do? So from your stomach, your food is going to go in your next body part, which is known as your small intestine. Now see, when your food is traveling from your stomach to small intestine, it will also get secretion from two major body parts. One is your liver. It will get secretions from the liver, and it will get secretion from the pancreas. So all these things are going to mix and come in your small intestine. So this is important to note. So let me just write down fourth part as your small intestine. But as we discussed that in your small intestine, it is going to get secretion from your liver, from your pancreas, and then it will come on to the part of small intestine. So let us first of all discuss what is liver going to do here. So let us talk about what is liver going to produce. So liver is going to produce something which is known as your bile juice. Now I hope you know that when you get jaundice, you get lots and lots of bile juice getting produced in your body, and that is the very same reason you start turning yellow, right? You would have seen a patient suffering from jaundice turning pale yellow in color. Why? Because the bile juice is produced in a lot of quantity. Now what does this bile juice actually do? So this bile juice contain lots of salts. So again, salt is not an enzyme, but just to give you a summary, what is this salt going to do? Salt is again going to make something and convert it into something, right? So what is salt going to act on? So this is going to work on your fats and on your lipids, and this is going to convert your fats and lipids into something which is a process which is known as emulsification of fat. Now what is emulsification? Emulsification means the large globules of the fats get converted into smaller globules. So this is not a complete digestion again of fat that has happened, but bile helps in breaking down the fat. The larger globules of the fats which are there, that gets broken down by this bile into smaller globules. This is what is the function of your liver. Next, once liver has done its part, next comes the role of pancreas. So what is this pancreas going to do? I am just quickly drawing a line, rough line over here. Now the B part of it. So what is pancreas going to do? So pancreas is also going to produce something which is known as pancreatic juices. And these juices are also going to produce two enzymes. What are these juices going to do? So these juices are also going to produce two enzymes. What are the names of these enzymes here? So these enzymes are first of all going to be trypsin and another one I am writing it a little down, which is lipase. Now let us see what is this going to do. So what is trypsin going to work on? What is trypsin going to do? So trypsin is going to break down this leftover intermediate protein. What was the leftover intermediate protein? The peptones and the peptides, right? These were the leftover or intermediate protein we have seen were there in the stomach. So this is now going to convert it into its final version, which is amino acid. Correct. So trypsin is going to work on peptones and peptides, and it is going to convert it into amino acid. And what is lipase going to do then? So lipase here is going to work on the smaller globules here that are left. So the smaller globules or the fats which are left behind, let me just write this here to give you properly. So here the lipase will digest the fats and it will convert it into its simple version, which is nothing but fatty acid and glycerol. Correct. This is what we have spoken in the starting. Ultimately, the food, complex food, has to be broken down into this simple version. So in the pancreas or from your pancreatic juices, there are two enzymes which are going to work. One is trypsin, another is lipase. Trypsin will work on your peptides and peptones and convert it into amino acids, and fats are going to convert the lipase is going to work on the fats, and it is going to break down into fatty acid and glycerol. So till where your food has reached by now? So till in your, now the next is your small intestine, right? So till now we have received secretions from liver, secretions from pancreas. Now let us see in the third part what is happening in the small intestine. So children, just to give you a quick note, small intestine is the site where the food will be entirely digested. Small intestine is also going to produce your juices, and what these juices are going to do? These juices are going to complete your digestion. So what do I mean by saying complete your digestion? Whatever carbohydrates will be left behind will be converted into sugars. Whatever proteins are left behind will be converted into amino acids, and whatever fats are there by now, they will be completely converted into fatty acid and glycerol. So entirely the process of digestion will be over once your food reaches in your small intestine. So this is a complete I would say the process that happens in the case of human whenever we are talking about digestion. But that's not the end, right? We do know that from the small intestine the food is going to travel to which part? So the food is going to travel in the next pathway, which is your large intestine, where maximum absorption of some water materials and all are going to happen. The food is finally through the large intestine is going to go through the rectum, where now mostly the food that has reached here is the undigested food, which is something the body don't want. So it will be stored temporarily in the rectum over here, and then finally through the anus the process of egestion is going to happen, where the undigested food will be expelled out of your body. Correct? So this is entirely, as you can see, the process of digestion that we have studied in detail today. So quickly just summarizing you, digestion is something where complex food is broken down into simple food by the action of enzymes, and this is what we have spoken, right? All these complex versions that we have eaten dal, we have eaten chapati, we have eaten rotis, we have eaten vegetables, we have eaten oil, we have eaten ghee, butter or whatsoever. So all these complex versions of the food has to be broken down into this simple version, which is sugar, amino acids and fatty acid and glycerol. And this complete pathway explains you that how in the different parts of your body, as you can see, the different enzymes and the glands are going to work, and they are completely going to digest your complex food into simple food, right? So if you have any doubts regarding this video, you can ask to me in the comment section box. And if you are liking my videos, then do refer it to your friends, subscribe my channel and show me some motivation, right? So thank you so much for watching this video. Meet you soon.